One thing you want to look at when we're dealing with trees, when you're felling them or anything like that, any defects that they have in the stump, because these defects can actually change the structural integrity of the hinge. How far the defect goes into the tree will determine what you do with the hinge material and how big the hinge is going to be, placement of it, stuff like that. When I come in about the third or so, about the 80% of the diameter, what can happen is the edge of my hinge is going to be really close to where this defect is. It's not as big of a deal with this tree because we've taken the top off and it's just a spar. So it's just a stick, the telephone pole that we're putting on the ground. So it's not that big of a deal. But if this is a tree that has a top on it, has a substantial amount of lean, what will happen is you can have a failing part of the hinge on this side of the tree. So as it starts to go, if there's any torquing or anything like that, any side lean, it can start the hinge to break, and then the tree cannot go where you want it to go. When you have a tree that is like this, we want to make sure you take extra precaution. So we're going to see what it looks like when we get inside of there. I'm going to go where the defect is kind of the narrowest, so then that way I have the most possibility for having good clean fibers on both sides of my hinge. So I'm going to go right about here. We'll see what happens, and then we'll stop, we'll look at it. Look at our hinge material, starting to have some defect that's right here. What that means is now this hinge isn't necessarily 16 inches wide, it's now 14 inches wide. So what I would do in a situation like this, especially if it's a nice straight tree, I would end up compensating, having my hinge be a little bit on the wider side. So then that way, the board that goes across with my hinge material is a little bit thicker and stouter this way because it's not as long as it used to be. So that means there's a little bit less steering capability of the tree if there's a big top or anything like that. It really doesn't go way into the center of the tree, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And all the material and the punky stuff's behind my hinge, which is perfect. So just do my back cut, put my wedges into it, and easy. Have a nice kind of open face, so when it's about 50, 60 degrees or so, it should be coming dislodged and land relatively flat. That was perfect.